Good morning, everybody. I took my kids out to lunch the other day to eat, and there was a guy that had overheard our conversation because I was talking to my kids about finances and budget, and that's something that I believe is a good steward to teach our children as they grow up because at some point they are going to have to manage money and finances and car payments and insurance and all these other things that all of us have to deal with as adults. So, finance is a big area that I take a lot of time, even as youngsters, to get money for chores or things you do in yard or certain things you should just do for the house, and then other things you should get like a little amount of money or whatever as you grow up to learn to budget. And right now, as they're younger, I'm telling them to save like 40 to 50% of anything that they make, 10% to God, tithes and offerings, and then the rest is a spending thing. And if they want to save more, they'll have more later, and I show that on paper with them once in a while. And we just have done this with our kids because finance is a big area of your life that you're going to have to deal with. But not just with finances and mortgages and we think we have to build credit and all these other things, which is not true. That's a lie that was told to us by people that want us to have credit cards and debt and everything else. But we're held up in student loans, which me and my wife are working on paying off, and have refinanced our home to do so because we fed into that lie too, that you have to have these certain things to have credit and all these things and be in debt, and it's not good. It's not good to be in debt. You don't have to be in debt to acquire things. You just have to wait more, manage your money better, and save more. But this guy had come up and he said, on one hand, my whole life I've dealt with millions of dollars have gone through my bank and all the things that I do as a loan officer, and I've never heard, I can count on one hand how many times I've heard a parent talk to their kids about finance. And it got me really thinking, because I was like, and not that I'm this great guy, because I learned it way late too. And I'm trying to implement it into my kids' lives now, and one of them's a teenager and about to be out of the house, and I'm hoping I can catch her up with things I'm trying to teach the younger ones. But if finance isn't taught to kids, and that's something that all of us have to deal with, literally like every month we have bills, we have payments, we have all these things that have to stay on, and if you want them, a roof over your head and electricity and all these other things that we have, then you have to pay the people that to provide them to get them. So if finance isn't taught, if you can count on one hand the amount of parents that have done that over the years, if that's not being taught to our kids, it got me thinking about another F, which is faith. And faith is more important than anything. Heaven and hell, that's real. I mean, we can sit here and be like, well, I don't believe in that, and I believe we're living in hell, and all this other nonsense that people believe, which is fine. You can think whatever you want. But when it comes down to what you think and feel and what God has already said and done, what God has said and done already wins. So if you really want to be focused on what we really need to be teaching our kids, like be good stewards in all area of finances, faith, really in faith, because that's a big thing. We're alive a dash between two dates, and that's all you get, good or bad. Whatever you do with that life between the dash between two dates, and we're not promised at 5, 10, 15 to 65 to 80 to my dad just passed at 65. I've had cousins that have passed at teenage years, and I've had cousins that have died very young, and a son that died very young. We're not promised tomorrow. So faith should be one of the biggest keys that we teach our kids. Faith is what the foundation is. That's what the fundamentals come from. It's what the morals and all the other things that surround your life. Your foundation of faith is the most important because it's what you build all the other things up off of. And if you don't have those morals and you don't have that foundation and you don't have those truths, you're going to have a wreck before you even get started. It won't matter about finances or anything else. What we do in little areas, we'll do in big areas. So we have to teach our kids faith. They have to have that foundation. They have to have those fundamentals and those morals and guidelines and things in their life. And know God's love and that they're loved and that someone cares about them more than anything on this planet. So teach them faith first, then finances and all these other things will fall into place, and we'll be teaching them to be good stewards. What you do in little areas, you'll do in bigger areas. So teach them faith. Give them that foundation. Love God, love people. Love y'all.